The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. 24 minutes to go until the opening bell, and you got markets clawing back some of the losses of the overnight session. We were in negative territory right after the close, driving down to almost 62.50. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You had an acceleration yesterday on some of the tariff concerns down to 62.45, but just like that, the market's back in the green. S&P's up by 7 points this morning, trading at 62.84 right now. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 68 points, trading at 22,953. Dow slightly in the red this morning. Quite a trade for the Dow yesterday. You go from 45,100 down to 44.4. Almost 700 points. You're trading right now down 42 points in the Dow, 44,636. Russell up 0.4% or 9 points in the green at 22.38. Bitcoin up almost $1,000, 109,400. You got Ethereum up by $43 this morning, 25.96. We jumped to crude, nearing that $68 price point. Just a few minutes ago, we were trading up there at 67.99. How about that? We're trading right now negative by 16 pennies, but crude reacting somewhat well as we're pushing that 68 price point, 67.77 right now on crude. Yields in focus, and it's not stopping this morning. Okay, this was the move yesterday. It was the move on Thursday. You're getting follow through, and you are actually below where you were trading in terms of price on that move Thursday. And how about 4.42? How about 4.42? We're up almost a full quarter point on yields from where we were a week ago. A quarter point higher from where we were a week ago. Now, I say that as in it's 23 basis points. We were at 4.19 was the yield on the 10-year when you had to buy that at 112.12. And if you buy it at 110.22 this morning, you're getting 4.42%, up from 4.19. And that's giving the dollar some strength, justifiably. You're up another 126, another 12 pennies, basically, at 97.60. You were at 96.37 when we were at 4.19. So as yields have risen, you've gotten a little bit of a dollar bounce. And I say a little bit, though, because when you check out that chart, my goodness, right? 97.60, we've gotten back the last 4 or 5 days of decline, but we're right where we were June 25th. You're right back at the lows of June 12th. 98 is the lows of April 17th, so we do have a bounce going on. We will see if we get any follow through today on that dollar. And yes, we got some upside. The VIX, nice round number, 17. We spiked to 1850 yesterday, but as you got a positive market this morning, the VIX right now kicking things off with 17 on the dot, and you are down by almost 80 pennies. All right. And as we kick it off, we got tariff news in focus, of course. And yeah, the headline, whether you talk about the Journal, says investors shake it off, right? Yeah. So the president sent letters to 14 countries Monday outlining their prospective tariff rates. South Korea, Japan, both of them 25%, despite Tokyo's extensive negotiations so far. We got another deadline. That deadline's August 1st, and it'll be here in 3 weeks. All right. Jumping around to a plethora of articles we can pull up, but guess what? Let's jump to Amazon for a moment. So it's Prime Day. Amazon got an upgrade, I believe, today as well. They're up by 60 cents with the market, just up to yesterday's high. And it's going to be interesting, to put it lightly, to see how all of this shakes out in the months to come. So you got Prime Day, okay? The event could provide insight into consumer spending and what they're buying amid mixed signals of the economy. We'll see how it progresses. But how about $23.8 billion in online sales? Imagine that, right? 96 hours, $24 billion. And that's what you're talking about, whether you're talking about Prime Day. But guess what? Everyone's got it going on right now. In terms of, let's see what the front page of Walmart looks like, because I bet they're going to have it. Target has this. Yeah, look at this. So Amazon kicks it off, right? Walmart is, nope, get back to the beginning. It was deal days. Come on. Deal days, 8 to the 13th. There it is. Walmart deals, July 8 to 13th. Let's see how Target does it. It's amazing how this all happens now. Nope, they're pushing Circle Week. Where's your charts? Big deal of the day. Today's deals. Nope, I need special deals. This week only. All right, Target's not getting it done, man. This is where you see the difference. I want a deal that's only going on for 96 hours because you go to Amazon, man. Prime Day's here. Ready? There it is. Prime Day starts now. Back to school. Buy again. Deals on shopping trends. Okay? Huge savings, 50% off. And Walmart gets it done, man. Okay? Well, where's the Target? Deal days. $24 billion in 96 days. That is remarkable, man. And you check out Walmart. Yeah, Walmart. So check this out, right? Yeah, Walmart's got another sign of strength from June 27th. We're pushing these highs. We put this thing on a weekly. As much as I want to say it's priced high, man, there is some strength in this market right now. Walmart has the acceleration out of the April lows. This is a weekly we're looking at. Nice sign of strength again off their earnings in May. And yeah, some strong numbers on June 23rd. Jump over to Amazon, take a look at the price and volume wise. Amazon, about $20 from the highs made earlier this year at $242. Yeah, on a weekly basis, look at this. Amazon. Now, you got to account, last week only had 3.5 trading days. Okay, so that's some decent volume on 3.5 trading days. You trade higher on June 23rd from 207 to 223, and we're pushing that 223 right now, but you did do 277 million shares. And that's a big number, man. Let's look at the dailies. Yeah, there's your pop. You do 119 million on June 27th. That's what you're bumping up against. The high there is 223.30. But we're doing it. We're going to be above it today at 224 on Amazon as Prime Day begins. Try not to spend any of that $24 billion unless you need it, folks. That's what I would say. We've all been sucked into Prime Day purchases. Try not to spend any of that $24 billion unless you actually need it, because it's not actually a deal unless you actually need something. But nonetheless, Prime Day, Walmart, it's rocking. We'll talk about some of that. And we got markets kicking it off in the positive with the S&P's up by 7, NASDAQ 100 up by 65. You jump over to Apple shares right now, trading flat at about 210. You jump over to Meta shares up by $4. It's not stopping for Meta, up to 722. Stay tuned, folks. Coming right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We take a look at Meta. So, yeah, they're poaching everybody, man. And you think about what's at stake. These salaries are meaningless, which is remarkable because they're tens of millions of dollars. But they do it again. Apple loses top AI models exec to Meta's hiring spree. And I would butcher that name if I... Ruoming Pang, distinguished engineer and manager in charge of the company's Apple Foundation Models team. Well, guess what? They're getting a paycheck and they're moving to Meta, man. Tens of millions of dollars. So Meta offered a package worth tens of millions of dollars per year. Okay? Bringing on major AI leaders, yeah. And this person joined Apple from Google in 2001. And yeah, they poached them. And boy, they're going after everybody, man. This person was running a 100-person team. Imagine that. As in, not imagine that, but that is a big pouch when you're running that poach in terms of, yeah, responsible for the company's large language models, which underpin Apple Intelligence. No wonder Apple's going for somebody else. How are you going to do it when you compete with Zuckerberg that's poaching everyone? Yeah. At the same time, and I was listening to Bloomberg earlier this morning, and they made the case, right, that if you are on the forefront here of AI, large language models, you want to work for a company like Meta versus Apple right now when they're making a shift away from their own internal play, right? Imagine you're working for Apple and they're making a shift saying we're just going to pay somebody else, and you want to be on the forefront of technology. It becomes even more difficult. And the last part about this is, okay, I talked about this earlier. You take a look at Meta. The amount of money they're spending is pennies. It's fractions of pennies compared to what is at stake for these companies. You look at a company like Meta, okay, that is $872 billion. No, is that right? Let me see. Hold on. Let me get it exact. No, you're over $1 trillion now, aren't you? I believe so. Yeah, 1.8, not $1.8 trillion, okay? And I made this example the other day. Meta giving somebody $100 million pay package, okay, is not much if they can deliver value for a company that's valued at almost $2 trillion, because it's difficult to understand how much a trillion is versus a billion versus a million when you're talking about exponential growth. But to put it in context, okay, that would be akin to if you ran a small business that was valued at almost $2 million. That's a great business, man. You want to sell it? You can sell it for probably $1.8 million to $2 million right now. Let's just create that scenario in your head, right? And I said to you, man, I got this employee. He is on the forefront of AI. I think he can change your business and bring tremendous value, and all it's going to cost you is $100. You say, man, that's the biggest no-brainer in the world. Well, guess what? $100 for a person running a $2 million company almost is the same exact thing, percentage-wise, as somebody running a company that's worth almost $2 trillion, paying somebody $100 million. That's how little it is, folks. Okay? It's the difference of 6 zeros. Yeah, because 2 million, you add 3 zeros, you get 2 billion, you add 3 more, you're at 2 trillion. You got to add 6 zeros. Well, guess what? If you're paying somebody $100 million, you can just lop off 6 zeros. And what's it become? It becomes $100. So remember that when you see these types of pay packages, okay, they mean nothing if they are delivering, and that's why they're getting handed out. You're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar, basically, opportunity, and I think that provides, because, man, I did that example the first time, and I thought it came out at $1,000, and it would still be a steal, right? Imagine that. You run a company that's worth about $2 million, and somebody says you can pay somebody $1,000, and man, they are going to do wonders for your business, right? You say, yeah, that's a no-brainer. That'd be paying somebody $1 billion. That would be paying somebody $1 billion if your company's worth $2 trillion. To put it in context, that's how little $1 billion is when you're playing with $2 trillion in context. But Meta does it again, and they're not going to stop. And when Zuckerberg's on a mission, man, boy, he's spending the capital. He's done it before. And it's pretty remarkable, the capital that he's got to do it with. From $88 to $718. And it's a great point, Delphi, man. It's like people are everything, for sure. Your employees, the culture, the minds that you're working with. And, paying your top earners is never something you should worry about, folks, ever. That's in running a business. The more business you do, people who are producing, people who are delivering value, they are the core of the company. But it is pretty remarkable that these companies have grown to that size. Now, so here's the scenario to look at it, right? Elon makes the case all the time when he wants his $55 billion pay package, right? The amount of money that you're playing with, that's a straight out salary. That has nothing to do with his ownership, okay? He wants that $55 billion pay package as a CEO salary because he's that important. Well, yeah, you better believe $100 million is basically nothing when you're talking about $2 trillion companies. But it is pretty wild that would be akin to somebody running, right? Amazing. I mean, same thing. Imagine you just play with the zeros in your head and it makes sense. Imagine that somebody is running a $20 million company, okay? If you're running a $20 million company, that would be akin to giving somebody a $1,000 bonus, just like what Meta is doing right now. They're a $2 trillion company giving people $100 million bonuses. It makes sense when you drop off some of the zeros, and that's all they're doing. And so they're not going to stop when you put it in that context. Now, technically, okay, we're bumping up against that 750 area. You trade to a high on Meta of 735 the week of June 27th. You do it with 18.7 million shares. Since then, you've had a drop-off. Last week, though, for 3.5 days, you had some selling in Meta. Last week, we did, that's a daily. Let me put it back to a weekly. Yeah, look at the selling off the top last week, though. Okay? Now, you trade higher the week of June 23rd on 67 million shares, but last week in 3.5 days, we did 55 million shares. You traded off with some volume. And we're going to come back up. We're going to be pushing 723. All right, folks, we're going to be coming back for the open, and we got the S&Ps trading in positive territory, up by 5, 62.81. NASDAQ 100 up by 55. We got yields continuing to rise. Look at this. I got to update that one, man. We're making new highs with yields just on this chart alone, folks. From last Tuesday, we're up almost 25 basis points in a week. That's a full quarter-point cut that just got pulled out of the market, just like that. We'll talk some yields. We'll talk some Fed. We'll talk some equities, folks. Don't go away. We're coming back for the opening bell.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open right now. You got yields continuing to climb, but S&Ps right now, we're positive by 1 point. You had a little bit of volatility overnight. We opened the futures last night at basically lows of 62.54, and we come in right to where we were on the close yesterday. But remember, you got quite a little acceleration into the close, right? We were trading down here about 62.62, 15 minutes before the close. And as we come into that, you got a little acceleration. We're giving it back, but the day is young, as our man Basil Chapman says. But yeah, markets roll over a bit. from that open. See where we go from there. All right. Let's talk some gambling stocks. DraftKings. Right now, up about 0.8%. Then you jump over to FanDuel, which is owned by Flutter Entertainment. FLUT is their symbol, up by 1.3%. So it's an interesting article from the Journal this morning. And I'm always talking poker. I've been around the gambling world, playing a lot of poker in my life. And yeah, it's remarkable when you see all this stuff coming to light. And boy, greed. Folks, try and learn from other people's mistakes. And it's a bummer this is happening, because you can learn from your own mistakes. But boy, watching other people make mistakes that seem like, how could you ever make that mistake? It's easy to do from the sideline, okay? But greed, mistakes in the moment, thinking that you can never get caught for something easy, and then when it comes out, man. But yeah, the scourge of spot fixing is coming for American sports. And yeah, the gambles, they just keep popping up, okay? Luis Ortiz, yeah, how about just providing the ability of... And this is where, folks, the data, okay? The data is everywhere. And that's where, now that everything is online, okay, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes forward, but greed's always going to be there. But this one's remarkable, because what this one talks about, okay, is Ortiz. And I'll post even this one in the den, just this article here from the Journal, or I'll post at least this tweet in here. No, I'll share this one, because if you haven't seen this, folks, it is remarkable how obvious some of this stuff is, whether you're talking about some of the basketball players under investigation, okay? But this gentleman, now we talk about pitches and balls, okay? And this is where in live betting is just ripe for manipulation, because of the ability for small, I mean, you're talking about here, okay, betting on one individual pitch. Now, the ridiculous part is, okay, these are just, as they put them, small, discrete events that have little to no bearing on the outcome of a game. The timing of a yellow card in soccer. Okay, a single pitch in baseball. Now, what's remarkable here is it is extremely difficult to lay action on these small bets to any large degree. Okay, you bet on the Super Bowl, that's fine. You're going to blend in with the crowd, right? We all know it from the volume of equities. I was talking about Goro yesterday. Let's take a look at Goro. Goro's on fire. But you got to be careful on these equities where you have very little volume, because the ability to get in or out can be difficult, okay? But yeah, they were betting on balls and strikes, and now they have firms that track, right, outlying data. And they got a warning about that data. They did it again. They got another warning. And here's what's crazy is, if you watch the pitch for this gentleman Ortiz, you got to think about it. It's interesting throwing a pitch and needing it to be a ball. Okay, because you got to make sure the batter doesn't even swing. Think about that, right? So he throws it straight into the dirt. Well, that's a little obvious. But yes, this is a huge problem for sports. And I hope that they fix it, because there's somebody who's talked about a tremendous amount of poker, right? And I find poker a tremendous game of skill in the long run. It's unfortunate that I can bet on sports, I can bet on all this nonsense, and I still can't play a $2 online poker tournament, which makes no sense whatsoever. So the ability for these games to get compromised, if they did it with a little bit more skill, they'd never get caught, folks. That's the toughest part, okay? Being able to do a pitch for a ball or a strike, they should have known that they were going to get tagged by the betting alone. When you have multiple bettors placing large bets on one single pitch, that's an anomaly. The system's going to fire it off instantly, which is what happened. You're not going to be able to even bet that much, which means how did they even pay that player? What did he get paid? But yeah, you're talking about real-time bets, and yeah, they want to create as many markets as they can, so it's going to be a problem. And, you know, this gentleman, I think he was making something like $750,000 for the year. And with this type of betting, I mean, maybe they just really blew it and tried to bet 10 grand, 25 grand, something silly on one pitch. But from everything I've read, it's very difficult to even find action on there. And if you can find action on the single pitches, you're going to be capped out at about $1,000 or $2,000 on some of these props. So how much was it making it back to this gentleman after everybody else got their cut? And he's risking $750 grand. But greed is everywhere, man. I have talked about it in poker. All right, there's angles everywhere. Anytime there's any type of money involved, but greed, man, is the bummer. But yeah, gambling. They got some issues, man, in a big way. So we talk a little bit more Prime Day, all right? So I mentioned that overall, you're talking about $24 billion was the number out there for retailers, okay? But Amazon, $12.9 billion alone, up 53% from last year. Can you imagine this? I mean, this is, and I own Amazon in the long run, folks, but boy, the numbers they do, okay? Up 53% from last year. Now, they are extending it. That's what it's talking about, okay? They're extending it for a whole week, practically. Everybody loves a good sale. The American consumer, they don't love anything as much as they love a good sale. We'll see if they get a little bit exhausted. They haven't gotten exhausted yet. As in, how long can you push these? And yeah, interest has waned. Year-over-year sales increasing during the promotion have remained in the single-digit percentages, but they've gotten more creative, and guess what? Now they're just going to make it a week. Yeah, and the advertising. Their advertising business is high margin, and the growth is almost competing with AWS. Their advertising sales exceed $50 billion a year now. And they're going to try and get people in Prime, of course. Amazon opened slightly in the red, down 0.1%. We take a look at Walmart shares, down 0.6%. Meta, they pouch Apple's exec. Market likes that, up by 0.5%. Apple, down 0.5% right now at the market. Let's check out some of the banks. We got higher yields coming at you. JP Morgan, down by 1.6%. Yeah, Bank of America off by almost 2% this morning. Citi down slightly. Look at that run Citi's on, man, from 55 to 90. Wells Fargo off by 0.2%. We got higher oil. Let's take a look at some of the airlines. Delta, there we go, up by 2.6%. United up by 2.3% right now. Airlines catching a bid. American up by 2%. JetBlue up by 2.4%. Stay tuned, folks. Come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. And yeah, take a look at Amazon again. So going back to the article that I first referenced, talking about the potential for tariffs to play a role, of course, on Amazon products. And it is interesting. Now, anecdotal, okay? But you got these small brands. They're selling basically interchangeable items. That's where you really got a problem, right? Aluminum trays. Can you imagine making aluminum trays right now? You're selling aluminum trays and you're getting whacked with 50% tariffs. So this gentleman sells aluminum trays with his company Upstream Brands that make decorative ice cubes for cocktail connoisseurs. Okay, so aluminum trays that make decorative ice cubes is the business he's in. It's remarkable what you can do on Amazon, right? You ship it in from somewhere else, you build a warehouse, and you ship it out. Usually, he sells his products basically at cost on Prime Day and promotes the brand. That's what he's saying, at least, okay? But this year, he can't offer the discounts. Then you go to Unilever's PLC's Blue Air, which makes air purifiers, humidifiers. They had to reduce the number of products it offers. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Amazon pushes out these numbers, man. You're pushing out these numbers and how it breaks down. It'd be interesting to see what products, how the tariffs play in. Can they push out the amount of sales? The sales are always a good way to promote the products. Some of these filters, okay, air purifiers, humidifiers, $300, and typically they're given about a 30% discount. We want to be cautious to see how the economy plays out for the rest of the year, and they're reducing the number of products it offers for sale during Prime Day due to the tariffs. Now, how about the sales numbers, man? Okay, look at the number of days they got. In 2021, you only had 2 days, right? I wonder how they got 1.2 days. They had Prime Day in 2016, 1 day. They're up to 11 days. 11 days. Prime Day now is 4 days. It was 2 last year. It's been 2 since 2022. And yeah, the one thing I will say is if you want an Echo or anything like that, right? One of those Amazon devices, this is the time to go buy those devices. If you want an Echo, you want a Kindle, you want one of their Fire tablets, you want one of their Fire TVs, I'm pretty sure Amazon pushes those out at cost on Prime Day. But yeah, they're stretching it, man, 11 days. And we've all done it. Don't fall victim. Don't do it, folks. Put the mouse down. Don't order those Amazon goods unless you need them. But you know what? The things you do need, yeah, you can get yourself a pretty good deal. Make sure you need it, though. Need versus wants. Needs versus wants in life, right? Boy, we could spend an hour a day on that. Needs versus wants. All right, we get the market holding up well right now. We're positive by 5 points right now in the S&Ps. And yeah, you back things up. I mean, you're talking about basically sitting at all-time highs outside of the action that we had on Thursday right now in the market at 62.82. We jump over to the VIX right now. And we're trading down with a 1693 handle on the VIX. As you get the Dow, I was going to say clawing it back. We had just gone to flat. But boy, yields are in focus and it's not stopping. And we got the 10-year at 4.43, up 24 basis points. 24 basis points, folks, from where we were last Tuesday. Now you talk a little bit of Fed, okay? Now the Fed meets every 6 weeks. Their next meeting is at the end of this month, July 30th, okay? I'm surprised the market's even given it a 5% chance that there's a cut priced in. 95.3% chance right now. No cut. A week ago, the market was thinking there might be a 21% chance we get a cut by that meeting, but then we got the jobs numbers, okay? And that went out the window. Now the market is thinking you have a 2-to-1 chance that we're getting a cut next month, okay? Where the conversation gets more interesting is let's go to the end of the year. End of the year, still factoring in 2 cuts, maybe even 3. 2 to 3 cuts. Only a 4.4% chance we get no cuts by the end of the year. Now, we're at 4.25 to 4.5% right now. I don't like going out further past the year because then it just becomes, what's the point of going out to April, to June, when, my goodness, we got a year's worth of data and a new Fed chair coming in. But just out of curiosity, the market sees 4 cuts by June. 4 cuts in the next year. Maybe 3. Now, you talk to, like I said, you go to June, nah. Nonetheless, by December, 2 to 3 cuts. We'll see if the data lines up, man, because we got unemployment. The reason I bring it up is look at the action we have going on in yields right now. You just went up a full cut, as in from where the market was on Tuesday, the market just went up 25 basis points. So it pulled an entire cut out of the market in 5 days. And the way this thing moves, okay, the 109.22 area, that's been the area. Whether it was early April, early May, also a critical area where it kind of turned around the election as well. And if you don't turn around there, we get the lows out there at 107. But there's a very real chance that we have higher yield. And don't just think the surprise can come for July, because we are going to get inflation numbers for June, July, and August prior to the September Fed meeting. There's a lot of data coming down the line by September when the market's pricing in we're getting cuts. But if you just look at the data that we got last month, okay, the only thing in that data in terms of the jobs number that we got on Thursday for the month of June was the fact that you did have about 70,000 plus in government hiring, and all of that taking place on the local level at state and local governments, not the federal government. Federal government, I think, accounted for a decline of 7,000 jobs, with government still adding a net gain of 70,000 plus. So the private sector added about 70,000 jobs. That would be the only thing that you say, okay, maybe there is some rollover there. Okay, outside of that, you have unemployment going down to 4.1%. You have the economy adding 100,000 plus jobs, 147, I think it was, for the month of June. And you have the markets at all-time highs. Why are they going to cut right now? And then you see stories about Amazon pricing, inflation. And then, you know what else you see on top of it, folks? Which we haven't really talked about because there's so much going on and because you got a little bit of a reprieve, is you got a little bit higher crude coming. We're at $68 right now. You're pushing the highs on Monday, well off of the area of 65 that we've been chopping around at, and the 60 area. Be hard-pressed to see why crude would really catch an acceleration with everything going on with OPEC, etc. But nonetheless, you do. You got crude rising to $60 right now. And we got the dollar sitting at 97.64. We got yields up. You got markets in the green. Stay tuned, folks. We got one more segment. Tesla up by 1.3%. Ooh, Meta gives it up. Actually in the red by 0.2% right now. Apple down by 0.3%. Amazon down by 0.4%. Stay tuned, folks. Come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. So speaking of a little bit of gambling, and yeah, that gambling bill that I was talking about, I'm pretty sure that that's in there. I was trying to find out. I don't think they changed the bill in terms of 90% deductions on gambling losses, and it's going to be pretty remarkable in terms of the impact that that may have. You go to Vegas for a weekend, okay, on that gambling law, and they start tracking everything you're doing, you're going to bet $5,000. I mean, imagine you're playing $50 a hand in blackjack, right? Every time you win a hand, you win $50. Every time you lose a hand, you lose $50. Guess what? The government just said you can only deduct 90% of your losses. Every single hand that you play is a win. Every single hand, you don't get to net out at the end of the day. That's a win versus a loss. You don't, just like you don't get to net out at the end of the year. Yeah, so it's going to have a huge impact if they really enforce it. We'll see if that happens. Nonetheless, the main event. So, third biggest main event ever. They get 9,735 people. Okay, they're going to be paying out about 1,500 people, and the winner's going to be walking with $10 million. Let's see what the bottom payout is. I think it's 15 grand. They're not going to get me there. Yeah, 10 million though, and if you make the final table, you're guaranteed $1 million for ninth place. And right now, the gentleman leading it, I think that's just day 1D. I think there's a gentleman. So when they played down day 1D, San Kim led that day at 799, but day 2 ABC, you had a gentleman, there it is, Kravchuk at 937,000. And yeah, they all come together today to play for the first time, and that'll take place over about the next week. But yeah, Darth, I think that thing did pass, because otherwise they would have had to restate it. Phantom winnings. They're going to be taxing you on Phantom Vegas winnings. Folks, watch out. All right. Watch out for this market, man. We got S&Ps back in the green, up by 4 points. NASDAQ 100, up by 36. Markets right near all-time highs. Folks, stay tuned. Basil Chapman, he's coming up next with the Tiger Technicians Hour. You got Steve Rhodes at 11 o'clock with the Trader's Edge. Fast Market at 12. Larry Pesavento live at 1 o'clock. I'll be back at 3 o'clock, folks. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you later, everybody.